Welcome to today's video about symptoms of sleep apnea. Picture this scenario. You've been to countless doctors, tried every treatment imaginable, yet you still feel like your body is betraying you. Your mind feels wrapped in cotton, your mood swings unpredictably, and despite sleeping for hours, you wake up feeling like you've been hit by a truck. What if millions of people are walking around with a life-threatening condition hiding in plain sight, masquerading as depression, anxiety, or just getting older? Sleep apnea affects over 22 million Americans, but here's the shocking truth. Up to 80% of cases remain undiagnosed. Why? Because most people, including healthcare providers, only look for obvious signs like loud snoring or gasping during sleep. What they're missing are strange, seemingly unrelated symptoms that follow you throughout your waking hours, stealing your energy, mental clarity, and quality of life. Today, we're exploring 9 bizarre, lesser-known daytime signs of sleep apnea that could be the key to understanding why you don't feel like yourself anymore. These aren't typical "I'm tired" complaints. These are warning signals that your brain and body are crying for help, desperately trying to tell you that something is stealing your oxygen while you're supposed to be recovering. By the end of this video, you'll have knowledge that could potentially save your life or someone you love. Every piece of information I'm sharing is backed by peer-reviewed scientific research because your health deserves nothing less than the truth.
All right, here's the list of sleep apnea symptoms, beginning with number 1. Cognitive difficulties and brain fog. Let's start with perhaps the most insidious symptom, the gradual theft of your mental sharpness. Imagine trying to think through thick fog where every thought moves through molasses. This isn't just being tired. This is your brain literally starving for oxygen. Research published in PMC involving 76 participants found that patients with obstructive sleep apnea demonstrate significant deficits in attention, memory, psychomotor speed, and executive function compared to healthy controls. When you have sleep apnea, your brain experiences repeated oxygen deprivation throughout the night. Each airway collapse causes oxygen levels to plummet and carbon dioxide to build up, creating a toxic combination that follows you into your day. A meta-analysis of 33 studies concluded that sleep apnea patients show consistent deficits in attention, memory, and executive functions. The damage is often so gradual that patients don't realize they're losing their mental edge until it becomes severe. You might forget yesterday's appointments, struggle with conversations that used to be effortless, or feel like your brain has been replaced with a slower version. Research shows that daytime hypercapnia, elevated carbon dioxide levels, can devastate working memory function. Your brain becomes intoxicated by its own waste products, leading to what patients describe as thinking through a haze. This symptom is often dismissed as stress or aging, causing many to be misdiagnosed with attention disorders or early dementia, when the real culprit is stealing their oxygen nightly. Next, number 2, mood changes and emotional instability. Now let's discuss a symptom that can destroy relationships and careers without anyone understanding why. Dramatic mood changes that seem to come from nowhere. If you've wondered why you've become more irritable, depressed, or anxious seemingly overnight, sleep apnea might be orchestrating chemical chaos in your brain beyond your conscious control. The connection between sleep apnea and mood disorders is so strong that researchers consider untreated sleep apnea a significant risk factor for clinical depression. A CDC study found that obstructive sleep apnea symptoms are associated with probable major depression regardless of weight, age, sex, or race. When your brain is repeatedly oxygen deprived throughout the night, it triggers stress hormones that flood your system. cortisol spikes, inflammatory markers increase, and your brain's neurotransmitter balance becomes disrupted. A BMC public health analysis found that 13.7% of sleep apnea patients had depression scores indicating clinical depression, compared to only 6.6% of those without sleep apnea. Stanford University research showed that people with depression are 5 times more likely to have breathing-related sleep disorders. The irritability associated with sleep apnea isn't typical bad mood. It's explosive, disproportionate anger over minor inconveniences. Patients report having no emotional buffer, as if their patience has been stripped away. Many people with undiagnosed sleep apnea develop treatment-resistant depression. They try therapy, medications, lifestyle changes. Nothing helps because they're addressing the symptom rather than the underlying cause. Research shows that treating sleep apnea often leads to remarkable mood improvements within weeks.
Next, number 3, morning headaches and migraine-type pain. Imagine waking up every morning feeling like someone took a sledgehammer to your skull while you slept. For millions with undiagnosed sleep apnea, this is an exaggeration. It's daily reality. Morning headaches aren't just inconvenience. They're your brain's desperate alarm system screaming that something went wrong during the night. Research published in PMC examining 1,131 patients found morning headaches in 29% of those undergoing sleep studies. These headaches typically begin within an hour of waking and range from dull aches to debilitating pain, making it impossible to start your day normally. The mechanism is both simple and terrifying. When your airway repeatedly collapses during sleep, blood oxygen plummets while carbon dioxide soars. This toxic combination causes blood vessels to dilate, desperately trying to deliver oxygen to your brain. When you wake and breathe normally, these dilated vessels create intense pressure and pain, lasting hours. A Nature study found morning headache severity was higher in severe sleep apnea compared to mild cases. Research in JAMA Internal Medicine confirmed that awakening headaches are associated with sleep apnea, typically brief in duration, with occurrence and severity increasing with sleep apnea severity. Importantly, CPAP treatment significantly reduces these headaches. Research shows that in 90% of cases, morning headaches completely disappear with CPAP treatment, providing strong evidence these headaches are directly caused by oxygen deprivation and carbon dioxide buildup during sleep apnea episodes. Next, number 4, dizziness, vertigo, and balance disturbances. Here's where things get strange and potentially dangerous. Imagine feeling like you're constantly walking on a boat in rough seas, even on solid ground. This isn't seasickness. It's your brain struggling to maintain basic functions after being repeatedly oxygen-starved all night. Research published in Otology and Neurology found that brief spells of non-positional vertigo recurring throughout the day responded to sleep apnea treatment and could represent a new vestibular entity. A clinical otolaryngology study found 22.46% of prevalence of vertigo and dizziness among 512 sleep apnea patients, significantly higher than healthy controls. The mechanism involves multiple body systems relying on consistent oxygen delivery. Your inner ear, controlling balance, contains structures extremely sensitive to oxygen deprivation. When sleep apnea repeatedly drops blood oxygen levels, these balance controlling mechanisms become compromised, leading to dizziness, unsteadiness, and sometimes full-blown vertigo. PMC research examining sleep apnea and dizziness concluded that evidence indicates sleep apnea is related to dizziness. Patients often experience repeated sudden momentary vertigo spells, and conditions like vestibular migraine and Meniere's disease are more frequent in this population. Balance problems can lead to falls, accidents, and injuries seeming unrelated to sleep issues. People might avoid activities, stop driving, or become sedentary because they don't trust their balance, never realizing stability problems stem from their bedroom events.
Next, number 5, non-restorative sleep and persistent fatigue. This might be sleep apnea's cruelest joke. You can spend 10, 12, or 14 hours in bed and still wake feeling like you haven't slept at all. It's not just tiredness, it's bone-deep exhaustion, making you feel completely energy drained by an invisible force. Non-restorative sleep is perhaps the most misunderstood symptom because it defies our basic understanding of how sleep should work. When you have sleep apnea, time becomes irrelevant. You could sleep half a day and still wake feeling like you've been awake for weeks. Normal sleep occurs in orchestrated cycles through different rest stages, including crucial deep sleep phases where your body performs essential repair and recovery. During deep stages, your brain clears metabolic waste, consolidates memories, and releases growth hormones repairing tissue damage. But with sleep apnea, these processes are constantly interrupted. Every airway collapse and oxygen drop forces your brain to partially wake to restart breathing. This might happen hundreds of times nightly, fragmenting sleep so severely you never achieve sustained deep sleep your body desperately needs. Studies show sleep apnea patients spend significantly less time in restorative sleep stages even when total sleep time appears normal. The resulting fatigue differs from normal tiredness. It's described as moving through thick syrup, where every action requires enormous effort. Next, number 6, frequent daytime microsleeps and involuntary nodding. Picture this terrifying scenario. You're driving, in an important meeting, or talking with your child, and suddenly your brain shuts off for seconds without warning. You don't choose to fall asleep, it just happens like someone briefly unplugged your consciousness. This isn't just embarrassing, it's potentially deadly. Microsleep episodes are among sleep apnea's most dangerous symptoms, yet they're often dismissed as simple tiredness. These brief consciousness lapses typically last 1 to 15 seconds, during which your brain forces itself into sleep mode regardless of your activity. The frightening part is people often don't realize they're happening. When you have sleep apnea, your brain accumulates sleep debt. Overwhelming need for restorative sleep is been denied night after night. Eventually, this debt becomes so large that your brain takes what it needs by force, shutting down consciousness in brief daytime bursts. Research shows untreated sleep apnea patients experience microsleeps at dramatically higher rates than healthy individuals, with frequency correlating to breathing disruption severity. Microsleeps can occur during any activity requiring sustained attention, like driving or operating machinery. The involuntary nodding accompanying microsleeps isn't gentle head dropping from tiredness. It's sudden, jerky movements as the head drops then snaps back when the brain reactivates. Many report constantly fighting to stay awake during activities that should require no effort to remain conscious. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration estimates drowsy driving causes thousands of deaths annually, with undiagnosed sleep apnea being a major contributing factor.
Next, number 7, high blood pressure and resistant hypertension. Here's a symptom that might silently kill you without obvious signs: dangerously elevated blood pressure resisting every treatment your doctor prescribes. If you're struggling with high blood pressure that won't respond to medications, lifestyle changes, or dietary modifications, your heart might be paying for what's happening in your throat nightly. The sleep apnea hypertension connection is so strong that specialists now consider unexplained or treatment-resistant high blood pressure a major red flag for undiagnosed sleep-breathing disorders. Hypertension research reveals that obstructive sleep apnea is one of the most common secondary causes of blood pressure elevation. When your airway collapses during apnea episodes, oxygen plummets and carbon dioxide builds up, triggering a fight-or-flight cardiovascular response. Your body responds as if drowning, flooding your system with stress hormones like adrenaline and cortisol, causing blood vessels to constrict and your heart to beat faster and harder. Johns Hopkins research involving over 6,000 adults found people with more than 30 breathing pauses per hour were more than twice as likely to suffer high blood pressure than those with no pauses. The American Heart Association's Hypertension Journal found that half of sleep apnea patients may have underlying hypertension, and many hypertension patients, particularly those with resistant hypertension, may have sleep apnea. High blood pressure earned a nickname silent killer because it typically produces no symptoms until causing heart attack, stroke, or other catastrophic events. Many with sleep apnea-induced hypertension feel fine during the day, never realizing their cardiovascular system is under constant nightly assault. Next, number 8, dry mouth, throat discomfort, and/or oral symptoms. Let's discuss a symptom that might seem trivial until you understand the serious underlying cause. Waking with a mouth feeling like the Sahara Desert, a throat burning like you've swallowed sandpaper, or discovering your pillow soaked with saliva. These aren't minor inconveniences. They're direct evidence your body fought for air all night. PubMed research examining dry mouth upon awakening in obstructive sleep apnea found this symptom's prevalence was twofold higher in sleep apnea patients, 31.4%, than primary snorers, 16.4%, increasing linearly from 22.4% in mild to 40.7% in severe sleep apnea. Control group prevalence was only 3.2%. When you have sleep apnea, normal breathing patterns become disrupted. As your airway repeatedly collapses, your body compensates by switching from nasal to mouth breathing, creating problems that follow you into waking hours. PMC research found 45% of sleep apnea patients reported morning dry mouth compared to 20.4% among controls. This symptom significantly differentiated sleep apnea patients from primary snorers even after adjusting for age, BMI, gender, and other classical symptoms. Northwestern Medicine and Mayo Clinic recognize morning dry mouth as significant symptoms warranting sleep disorder breathing evaluation. Research shows roughly 40% of CPAP patients experience dry mouth, causing side effects including headaches, dizziness, and bad breath.
Next, number 9, chronic fatigue distinct from sleepiness. Finally, let's explore perhaps the most confusing symptom, bone-deep exhaustion, completely different from feeling sleepy. This isn't about wanting to nap. It's feeling like your life force has been systematically drained, leaving you an empty shell of your former energetic self. The distinction between fatigue and sleepiness is crucial for understanding sleep apnea's effects. Sleepiness is the desire to fall asleep, what you feel when needing rest. Fatigue is persistent energy lack that doesn't improve with sleep or rest. It's feeling every activity requires enormous effort, like living life while carrying invisible weights. With sleep apnea, both sleep quality and your body's oxygen use efficiency become severely compromised. During the day, your cells and organs are still recovering from repeated overnight oxygen deprivation. Your muscles, brain, and other tissues run on empty, trying to perform normal functions without needed energy resources. Research shows the cellular level exhaustion manifests as overwhelming fatigue, making simple tasks monumental. People describe moving through thick molasses as if their bodies forgot efficient operation. Unlike normal tiredness improving with rest, this fatigue persists regardless of rest time or early bedtimes.
The fatigue involves multiple physiological systems. Your cardiovascular system becomes less efficient at delivering oxygen to tissues, metabolism slows as your body conserves energy, and muscles don't recover properly from daily activities. The result is comprehensive energy crisis affecting every aspect of physical and mental functioning. This symptom develops so gradually, people don't realize they're sick, attributing declining energy to aging or stress, never considering their exhaustion results from nightly suffocation. As we reach the end of our journey through these 9 strange daytime symptoms of sleep apnea, take a moment to reflect on what you've learned. These aren't just medical curiosities. They could be missing pieces of your own health puzzle. Sleep apnea is called a silent killer because its most dangerous effects happen while you're unconscious, and its daytime symptoms are easily misattributed to other causes. Millions suffer for years without getting desperately needed help. If you recognize yourself in any of these symptoms, don't ignore what your body is trying to tell you. The cognitive fog making work difficult, mood changes affecting relationships, morning headaches starting each day with pain, dizziness making you feel unsafe, persistent exhaustion stealing life's joy. These aren't character flaws. They're medical symptoms of a treatable condition. The most important thing to understand is that sleep apnea is not a life sentence. With proper diagnosis and treatment, people often experience dramatic symptom improvements within weeks or months. The brain fog lifts, mood stabilizes, headaches disappear, energy returns. It's like watching someone come back to life. If you suspect sleep apnea based on today's information, speak with your doctor about getting a sleep study. Don't let another night pass where your body fights for air while supposed to be recovering. Your life, health, and happiness are too important to leave to chance. Take action, get answers, and reclaim the vibrant, energetic person you're meant to be. If this video was helpful in opening your eyes to sleep apnea's hidden world, please type "helpful" in the comments below. It truly motivates us to continue creating life-changing content. If you found value in this information, please give this video a like, share it with someone who might need to see it, and subscribe to our channel for more health insights that can make a real difference in your life. Thank you for taking time to learn about your health. And remember, recognizing the problem is the first step toward feeling better than you ever thought possible.